Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Talk This Way podcast. I'm your host, Matt Bishop. We have a guitar guru live from the tour bus on today's episode, checking in from the road, the one and only Nita Stauss.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So good. Bus is parked finally. We had about a 12-hour drive last night, so
Oof,
happy to be stationary and have a good internet connection and have a chance to chat with you.
nice. How is the run going? You're out on some solo dates right now, for those that don't know.
Yeah, it's going well. The shows have been amazing. Definitely one of the more challenging tours we've done with all the behind the scenes stuff, but the important part, which is the shows, seeing the bands, getting to meet everybody afterward and, playing the songs of the new record, that's been absolutely amazing.
And when you say like behind the scenes stuff, are you allowed to elaborate on that or?
Oh, I mean, I'm allowed to do whatever I want on tour.
There you go.
Um, Honestly, I just typically don't really elaborate on that kind of stuff because I'd rather just focus on the positive, focus on the stuff that's going well, all the
Fair
sort
enough.
of admin stuff or crew issues or anything like that. Like, we kind of keep that stuff in house.
I got
I
you.
don't really, I don't think we need to have the headline of like so and so is shooting with so and so and something else. It's just, we keep it positive over here.
Well, you answered my question, without even answering it, and it sounds like that kind of stuff that's just the nature of the beast, with pretty much any tour, any outing you go on.
I think you're right. And especially now, we're still in weird times, this post-pandemic thing where it's an extremely busy touring cycle, a lot of people, there's a lot of what we call house people that don't usually tour that are out touring that, maybe aren't as experienced with the actual tour side of things or vice versa. And it's just everybody's figuring stuff out as they go along. The important thing, for our tour and for I think all the other ones that I know of is like the shows aren't getting derailed. Like the bands are like pushing through all of these challenges. And if we're doing our job right, fans don't even know that there's stuff going on.
Yeah.
We had something happen on stage last night where one of the songs in our in-ears, like, with the click track that we hear was completely off and like didn't even like we couldn't possibly have played the song that way the way it started. And I just like, had to casually waltz over and like scroll through our session and find that click track and mute it before anybody else started playing. And, when I mentioned it to friends that were there afterward, they're like, "Oh, is that why you walked across the stage? Like, you didn't even seem panicked." It's like, yeah, you just kind of got to roll with the punches and stay cool and uh, give the fans the show they came there to see.
Yeah, and I think fans there are two things going on. Number one, they don't know what's going on, which is fine. They're just oblivious to
Yeah.
it. And then there's people that do notice it, but they don't care. Like nobody cares. Like it's the beauty of it is that it's live and that things are going to go wrong. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a guitarist go like this, like right in the
Uh-huh.
first song, like yeah, that's just like how it's going. I mean, I was at Van Halen 2015, song number 3, David Lee Roth stops the show and goes, "Hang on a second, we got to fix this." And he goes over
Yeah.
and talks to the sound guy for like 30, 45 seconds, comes back, he's like, "All right, we're back. We're going to give you guys a
We're
good
good.
show. It wasn't sounding right, but we got it right now." And this is one of the biggest bands ever. And I'm
In
just
the
like, you know
world.
what? Yeah, you just got to figure it out. Things are going to happen, but the beauty of it is that, especially with rock and roll, is that it's just pure live and things are going to happen. People just roll with it. Nobody cares.
Yeah. 100%. I did that in Toronto the other day. Like we were having a lot of issues with the in-ears, and I was like, you know what, guys? Like, hang on. I'm pulling the plug on this. I handed my pack off to my guitar tech and I was like, you guys sort this out. And I have a wireless mic. I just walked around the stage and chit-chatted, talked to the audience for like 2 or 3 minutes while they rescanned my pack and got the frequencies right. And then it was fine. And it wasn't like I didn't at all get the sense of like, wow, that was so unprofessional. It's like, okay, sometimes you got to get it right. You got to be able to hear what you're doing. And people go to a live show to see a live show. If they wanted to stay
Mhm.
home and hear the record exactly as it was performed, they could just stay home and listen to the record, save some money.
Yeah. And I think, somebody at this point in your career, you have certain luxuries now, like in-ears and all this kind of technology, and you have a guitar tech. But like you said, when stuff goes wrong, we're just going back to like, the high school talent show when I just walked on, plugged my amp in and just let it rip, and I think everybody started somewhere. So these technological luxuries are really great. They enhance things a lot, but at the end of the day, you just got to go out and play. And, like when you do what you just did, or when you do what you just say that you did, there you go. Let's just go back to basics.
Yeah, simpler times.
Indeed, indeed. So you guys are out on the road now. You're playing a bunch of songs from the new record. How is it feeling? How is the crowd kind of responding to these new songs? And I've listened to the album. We'll get to that in a minute. It's freaking awesome. But
Thanks. The response has been amazing. It's especially special for me because, this technically was a pandemic album for me. Like I wrote and recorded most of this during the quarantine period, and it's taken a long time to come out. Just, we've got a lot of guests, a lot of sort of like red tape to get through with having this many people feature on a record. And for me, the album was already feeling like it was gone, like it was over and done with before it even came out. And being out on the road playing these songs live and hearing people's reactions to hearing them for the first time is it's reinvigorated my excitement and my fire for this upcoming record. And I am, it's coming out in 8 days from the day that we're doing this
mhm.
interview, and I have just this renewed fire and excitement of like, yes, I cannot wait for the world to hear this record.
And it's crazy because like the record's not even out yet, but you've had such a wild ride already. I mean, Dead Inside, #1 on rock radio. There's already a bunch of singles out that are just tracking so well on YouTube and social media. The Victorious video just dropped. It feels like it's out. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I should know things, but sometimes I just don't, and I gotta look it up. I was like, wait, the album's out. No,
No,
is
I
it?
know, I
I
know.
was like,
It feels like that for me too,
yeah.
honestly, because the first single came out in 2021.
Mhm.
And that again, it was, we've dealt with a lot of, we've learned a lot over the course and process of making this record. And one thing that we really had to be respectful of is everybody's timelines. So many bands were releasing albums at the same time, post pandemic. Nobody could tour, so everyone went in the studio and made music. And so we had to rush Dead Inside Out because Disturbed was about to drop their record.
Mm.
And we had to make sure that we didn't conflict in any way with the primary band of any of these artists. We're not trying to mess up Disturbed's album cycle or In Flames' album cycle or Hailstorm's album cycle. We have to make sure that we're respectful of everybody else's timeline as well. So it was kind of like, hey, this, Dead Inside, it can come out now or it can come out, not as a single or like way, way, way later. We're like,
Hmm.
put it out now. And that's what we did. I think it's rare that an album sort of has as long of a shelf life as this one has before even coming out, a year and a half of dropping singles before it actually comes out.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's interesting because I would think as a media person that the the promotion could play off of each other. Like, oh, we have the new Disturbed record over here. Guess what, Disturbed fans? David's also on this Nita track over here, and the promotion goes back and forth. We're tagging each other on social media, but I also can see how they could cannibalize each other a little bit.
Yeah, while that makes sense, I think that the way, on a more practical standpoint, I think it's the opposite. The way it actually works, where look, there's only one number one at a time, and
Mhm.
if both of this artist's songs are jockeying for that spot, it doesn't help either one of them.
Mhm.
So it makes a lot more sense for everybody involved. For me and my team, for the different artists and their teams, if we're respectful of each other's timelines and spread things out in a way that makes sense for everybody.
So, talking about, all these people that are on this album, how did you go about getting everybody to come on to the record? I guess more in terms of like, how did you know that they were a good fit for the song while you were writing it?
Some of them I knew right away. The Alice Cooper song, for example, was written specifically for Alice, with his vocal cadence in mind and his range in mind and his tempo that he likes to sing at in mind. And then other ones were a lot more open. We wrote some songs were like, hey, this song needs a powerful rock female vocal. You know, it could have been Lizzie, it could have been Dorothy, it could have been Lilith Starr. And once the song was more complete, we then would pass it along to that vocalist and be like, okay, this is the idea. You know, some of them did a little writing on it, you know, wrote verses or bridges or, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Some we delivered a pretty well finished song and they sent back, you know, an incredible vocal delivery of what we wrote. So it was a little bit of everything, really.
I got you. And is it as simple as like you texting Lizzie and just saying like, "Hey, I got this killer song. I'm sending it to you right now. Listen to the riff. Let me know what you think. I want you to sing on it." And then boom, it's done.
Literally
Or
that.
is it like, is there okay, so after that then, follow-up question, is there like a lot of red tape with management and royalties and all that stuff? Or are you guys just like right in the studio, let's cut this thing?
There is a lot of that, a lot of the bureaucratic side of things that I personally was not aware of and not prepared for. Um, and it was a great lesson to be learned for next time. That when we, you know, when we go out and get these feature artists, that we sort of get all of that out of the way before they go in and record. Because to me, I thought it was, you know, fairly simple the way you described it. You know, I did text Lizzie and say, hey, I have this song. I think you'd be a great fit. You know, shooting my shot here. Sent it to her. She loved it. She popped into the studio in Nashville, tracked it herself, you know, sent off this incredible vocal delivery to me. And then we get into it with, you know, the management and their album cycle and everything else they have going on, and making sure that, you know, they're all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And there's a lot more T's and I's than I thought there were. And this is not a Lizzie specific thing. This is with, you know, I've got
Right.
8 guests, you know, 8 different guests on this record with, you know, different labels and different managements and different lawyers and, you know, all of this stuff that I wasn't aware of how much there was to handle. So in terms of working with the actual guests themselves, it was a breeze, a dream come true. Every single one, you know, 10 out of 10 would work with again. But in terms of just the admin side of it, a lot of good lessons learned for next time.
Gotcha. Very cool. It's always interesting to get, you know, that the other side of things, like that business side that, you know, not many people know about. It's crazy. It's a wild animal,
Listen,
but
I sure didn't know. Like, I'll just be honest, you know,
there you
like
go.
I'm a guitar player with a good team around me. You know, I have a great label at Sumerian Records. I have an excellent attorney, Eric German, who has sort of like guided this process from the beginning. You know, my boyfriend Josh has been my manager for close to a decade now. And, you know, so luckily for me, I can sort of be a dumb guitar player and be like, hey, you want to be on my album? And then like let my excellent team around me help with the particulars of making that a reality.
That's very cool. So, you know, as everybody knows, most everybody, you're playing guitar for Alice Cooper for a long time now. You did some stuff with Demi Lovato. That was absolutely killer. Very rock, you know, like rock slash hard rock. And then when you listen to this record, I mean, there are songs on there that are just gonna melt your freaking face off. Like this is some very pure metal music. Is that what you were going for? Is that the style that you kind of is that what you're drawn to most? Or was it just kind of like, well, you know, I've done like the rock, the pop punk rock thing. I need to do something heavier. Was that a conscious decision or is it just who you are?
No, that's just what I sound like. If you listen to my first record, Control Chaos, that came out in 2018, I think it just sounds like a more raw, undeveloped version of what I'm doing instrumentally now. If you listen to the instrumental songs on both my records, like that's what I sound like as an artist. And so playing with someone like Alice or playing with someone like Demi or doing my Rams gig, you know, or anything else like that is a great exercise for me in stepping out of, you know, the sort of selfish way of just being a musician and playing how you want and stepping into the role of a good hired gun where you're there to execute the best Alice Cooper show that Alice Cooper fans have ever seen. You know, it's not about going in there and like doing a Nita show and like, you know, shredding faces and sweep arpeggios in every song. Like you have to go in there and do an Alice Cooper show. And so I like doing the solo stuff because it just gives me a chance to be authentically me and play however I want and just show my personality and my style without having to execute someone else's vision in the process.
I got you. So with Alice Cooper coming up, I mean, we have a new record coming out. Is it tough for you to like shift gears? I mean, you're just going nonstop.
Yeah, not at all, actually. I've been playing with Alice a long time. His style is something I'm intimately familiar with now. It was just my 9-year anniversary with the band a couple days ago. So
Wow.
I have a good handle on it. I know what he wants to do with the show. I know what the fans want to hear. I think I have a pretty good handle on when to step up and, shine, and when to lay back and let the fans see Alice, who they really came there to see. So very excited. We start back up with Alice in a few weeks here, and very excited for round two of Alice Cooper Motley Crue.
Yeah, it's you guys got the dates with Motley Crue and then the Rob Zombie tour. Man, it's going to be a wild end of summer for you guys. And then we got the new record,
Yes.
on the horizon. Man, all good stuff.
Yeah, new record coming out in a week. Alice Cooper, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. 2 weeks after that, Alice, Rob Zombie in the fall, and then we just confirmed another tour for my solo band for the winter, which starts 2 days after the last Alice Cooper tour ends. So I am now officially booked up the rest of the year. My books are closed. I'm still going to do the Rams games as well through the end of the year. So it is going to be a very, very busy year. And I hope to have it in here.
Very cool. I know it's like logistically, I don't want to never say never, but it's basically logistically impossible to get everybody that you've had on the record at a show to do it live, with everybody. But a lot of folks, you're going to be on tour, and a lot of these other folks are on tour. Is there going to be any type of effort to link up with some guest appearances and do your song from the record with that particular artist, maybe at their show or yours?
Doing it at their show might be difficult. Obviously there's always an open invitation to do it at my shows. My band knows all the songs. Might be hard for someone else's band to learn, the entire band to learn a song just for one performance. But yeah, open invitation on my stage always. We've done Dead Inside with David Draymond before, and
Mhm.
it was an incredible experience. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime any of the guests want to come up and sing, I love having people come up and jam.
There you go. Shout out to everybody. Let's make this happen. Let's do it.
Yeah, come
Open
on, let's do
invite.
it.
Let's go. Open mic night. Let's go. Let's do
Open
it.
mic night at the Nita Stauss show. I love it.
Well, I'm going to let you go relax a little bit. I know you guys are in the thick of it, but before I let you go, I know you just joined Demi in New Jersey for a song. You guys cranked another one out. I was at the tour back in, I don't remember when it was, but I was at the show in Philly. It was killer.
Oh,
Is there
nice.
any talks of running that back or possibly making some new music?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. She is working on new music now. She just dropped a great new song called Swine, which is getting
Mm-hmm.
some really serious rock airplay. I just saw that it got on Octane, which is, I love seeing Demi on Octane. Like that's the kind of thing that makes me happy. As a friend of hers and a fan of what she does, like I know that that's really meaningful for her to get some airplay in the hard rock space. So yeah, absolutely. Whenever our schedules line up, we are in communication all the time. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with her in the future.
That's awesome. I mean, it was great. The album was good. It was really good. And it
Thank you.
wasn't really good because it was, Demi Lovato. We got the Demi Lovato tag on it. It was a solid rock album. Like it was good. And when the band that she put together, with yourself included, was just absolutely killer live. And it was a real breath of fresh air. Like this was awesome. I said in my review, I was like, Demi, welcome to the dark side. We need your
Love it.
vocals in rock and roll over here. Those powerhouse pipes. It was awesome. But
Love it.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a
exciting to
lot of
know that
fun.
it could. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add on to that. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Like you said, the band was so good. Working with, Leanne and Danny and Brittany to put this, very like authentic rock show together for Demi, and let her be a rock star. She's such a rock star at heart. So we had a great time doing it. I'm glad it translated well.
For sure. Yeah. And exciting to know that we, possibly more is on the horizon. Who knows? We'll see.
Yes,
Very cool.
definitely.
All right, Nita Strauss, ladies and gentlemen, The Call to the Void, the new album is coming out July 7th on Sumerian Records. We got a link for you right down below to pre-save for the download, and she is on tour right now. Tickets are available at nitastrauss.com. Nita, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on. I hope you guys love the new record.
Rock on.
Awesome.